So there's two things that can spur on BDNF. It's exercise, and then the other one are some of these foods that actually help your brain create new cells. Well, if you're depressed and you want to make new, healthier connections, then you want to have more BDNF to spur on new, healthy connections and kind of help with the rewiring of your brain, right? The idea of neuroplasticity, which is that your brain is plastic. We used to think that it was fixed, and now we know, thank God, that your brain actually changes all the way up, until you're 100. So there are things that you can do that will continually change over the functioning of your brain. So if your brain is not functioning the way that you would like, then that means the opposite holds true, that it can function to the way that you like or better than it ever has if you take into to account some of these behavior changes. So then we see dark leafy greens and other vegetables, basically any vegetable, right? And the dark leafy greens, I noted those just because those specifically, they talk about those in terms of, iron and folate and all of those other things they need that I discussed earlier. So you've got legumes and whole grains and pastured eggs. That just doesn't mean it has to be organic. It's just if you get eggs that aren't necessarily factory style eggs, they're just going to have a little bit of a higher health component. But if you're not able to access those, I wouldn't have that deter you from eating eggs. I just say eggs in general are great, and pastured eggs are even better. When it comes to dairy, some people responsive to dairy in terms of it can be inflammatory, but usually what you will see is that it's not dairy across the board. It may be milk. Most people are lactose intolerant, but some people don't respond well to milk or cheeses, but can eat fermented dairy. So fermented dairy would be yogurt, like full fat yogurt or kefir, which is like more of a drinkable type of yogurt, and do really well with that. And those types of dairy, those fermented foods, actually feed the good bugs that are in your gut, right? So kefir, yogurt, other fermented foods would be sauerkraut or, fermented pickles, as long as it doesn't have the vinegar in it. Kimchi, if you like more Korean style food, it has a little more flavor, I think, than the sauerkraut. It's spicy. Small amount of that every single day. It would be better to eat those foods than to necessarily take a supplement, but you could do both if you feel like you're really just wanting to change things up as much as possible. And then of course, like heavy on the seafood. I will say, out of all the research that I've read, you're going to get more bang for your buck with seafood in terms of your mental health. A lot of times there's a doctor I follow, Dr. Drew Ramsey, and he suggests that you have omega-3 rich seafood at least twice a week, and then supplement with fish oil on top of it. And there's a lot of research, a lot of science to support that. Sardines are another one. Oysters, mussels, and clams, they're high in zinc and other minerals that you may need for your brain health. And then grass-fed red meat. Now, there's debate about meat. I'm not telling you what to do one way or the other, but what they have found is that people who eat the healthier types of red meat, but eat it less frequently, tend to have better results with their mental health. So typically what they'll say is have it, but limit it to once a week.